Hello everyone. Welcome back, Crash Kraus. Night sleep story enjoy. Close your eyes and relax. If you like my video, please like and subscribe. The Vanishing Path. reawakens. The story begins with a vivid description of a dense forest known locally as the Whispering Woods, notorious for its eerie ambience. Setting the scene. The rain begins to fall lightly, creating a rhythm that accompanies the narrative. The protagonist, an 18-year-old girl named Evelyn, ventures into the forest at night to look for her missing dog, Luna. As she walks deeper, the path starts to fade, leaving her surrounded by towering trees that seem to whisper in hushed tones. Suspense builds. Evelyn hears soft footsteps that don't belong to her. She discovers strange symbols carved into the trees, glowing faintly in the rain. The deeper she goes, the darker and colder it gets, until her flashlight flickers and dies. Part 2. The Stranger's Cabin. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Evelyn stumbles upon an old wooden cabin with dim lights glowing inside. The cabin. Inside, she finds a small fireplace and shelves lined with dusty books. A mysterious figure, a hooded stranger, sits silently in a rocking chair. The stranger speaks in riddles, warning Evelyn to leave before they find her. Unraveling mysteries. Evelyn notices that the cabin has no door from the inside. It's as if it's trapping her. The stranger vanishes into thin air, leaving a cryptic map on the table. Following the map, she discovers hidden secrets about the forest's cursed history, including disappearances spanning centuries. And the forest's curse. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Evelyn realizes she must uncover the forest's secrets to escape. Climactic events. Ghostly apparitions appear, guiding her toward a massive ancient tree at the heart of the forest. The tree seems alive, its roots twisting and reaching for her as she approaches. Evelyn uncovers a diary buried near the tree, detailing a tragic story of a young girl sacrificed to the forest centuries ago. Resolution. Evelyn confronts the spirit of the sacrificed girl, who reveals that the only way to break the curse is to destroy the tree. Armed with newfound courage, Evelyn sets the tree ablaze, breaking the forest's hold over her. As dawn breaks, the forest begins to crumble, revealing the path back to her village. Ending. Evelyn wakes up in her bed, unsure if the night's events were real or a nightmare. A faint whisper from the woods reminds her it wasn't just a dream. The Stranger's Cabin. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. The cabin's mysterious aura. Evelyn stands at the threshold of the cabin, hesitant to enter. The faint orange glow from inside the cabin spills out into the rainy darkness. The sound of creaking wood draws her closer, but her instincts tell her to run. She fights the urge and steps inside, shivering as the warmth of the room clashes with the chilling dampness of her soaked clothes. The cabin feels timeless, filled with odd trinkets, broken clocks, jars of blackened herbs, and paintings of shadowy forests. She notices that every window is tightly shuttered, and the rain outside seems muted, as if the cabin exists in its own realm. Encountering the stranger. Evelyn's breath catches as she notices a hooded figure seated in the corner, rocking back and forth in a creaky wooden chair. The figure speaks in a raspy voice without turning around. "You shouldn't have come here, child. The woods don't take kindly to trespassers." Evelyn tries to ask who they are, but the stranger only answers in riddles. The woods are alive, and they hunger. You're not the first, nor will you be the last. The stranger warns her about the watchers of the forest, unseen creatures that hunt those who wander too far. The map and the warning as the stranger speaks. Evelyn notices a map etched into the wooden table. It shows an intricate layout of the forest with strange symbols marking specific locations. Before she can ask more, the stranger suddenly vanishes, leaving only their rocking chair swaying eerily. Evelyn feels a cold draft sweep through the cabin. She picks up the map, realizing it might be her only way out. The forest's grip tightens. When Evelyn steps outside the cabin, the rain has stopped, but the forest is eerily silent. The path she took to the cabin is gone, replaced by dense underbrush. The symbols from the map seem to appear in glowing patterns on nearby trees, guiding her forward. The forest's curse, 2 and 3 The journey to the heart of the forest, clutching the map. Evelyn navigates through the dark woods. The glowing symbols on the trees guide her deeper, but the air becomes colder and heavier with every step. Strange whispers echo around her, voices too faint to understand, yet hauntingly close. Shadows dart between the trees, and Evelyn feels the sensation of being watched. Suddenly, the forest floor shifts beneath her, and she tumbles into a hidden underground tunnel. Her flashlight flickers to life, revealing walls covered in ancient carvings, symbols similar to those on the map. The ancient tree. The tunnel leads Evelyn to the heart of the forest. A massive, gnarled tree that seems alive. Its roots twist and pulsate like veins, and its bark is etched with faces frozen in silent screams. At the base of the tree lies a small, weathered chest. Inside, Evelyn finds a diary written by a girl named Lila, who lived in the village centuries ago. The diary reveals a horrifying tale. The village once worshipped the forest, offering sacrifices to the ancient tree in exchange for protection. Lila was chosen as a sacrifice, but cursed the forest with her dying breath, binding her spirit to the tree and trapping the forest in eternal darkness. Evelyn realizes that the tree feeds on the souls of those who enter the forest, and the only way to escape is to break the curse. Confronting the spirit as Evelyn reads the final entry, the forest begins to stir, the ground trembles, and Lila's spirit manifests, a ghostly figure with hollow eyes and flowing hair that blends into the tree's roots. Lila's voice is sorrowful yet angry. Why did you come here? They always come, and they always fail. Evelyn pleads with her, promising to end the cycle and free her soul. Lila hesitates, then reveals the tree's weakness, fire. However, she warns that the forest will fight back. The final battle. Evelyn gathers dry branches and lights them using a matchstick from the cabin. As she sets the tree ablaze, the forest erupts in chaos. The watchers emerge, shadowy figures with glowing eyes, rushing toward her to extinguish the fire. Evelyn fights through, throwing more branches into the flames as the tree groans and cracks. The fire consumes the tree, and the faces in its bark scream as they are released. The watchers dissolve into mist, and the forest begins to wither. Breaking the curse as dawn breaks, Evelyn finds herself standing at the edge of the forest, the ancient tree reduced to ash. The whispers are gone, replaced by the gentle sound of birds chirping. Evelyn looks back one last time and sees Lila's spirit, now at peace, fading into the morning light. She returns to the village, clutching the diary as a reminder of the night she survived. Ending twist weeks later. Evelyn notices strange symbols appearing on her bedroom walls, the same ones from the forest. She hears a faint whisper. It's not over. The lingering shadows. 3 uncalm, 4 uncalm. Uneasy return. Evelyn tries to resume her normal life, but the events of the forest haunt her. She spends days reading through Lila's diary, hoping to understand the curse more deeply. Despite her escape, she feels the forest's presence in her daily life. Shadows in her house move unnaturally, and the faint sound of whispers returns at night. One evening, while sitting in her room, Evelyn notices that the symbols from the map are now appearing on her walls and ceiling, glowing faintly in the dark. The curse follows. Evelyn begins to suspect that the curse wasn't fully broken. She dreams of the forest every night. In her dreams, the ancient tree is alive again, its roots creeping toward her. One morning, she finds a sprout growing in her backyard. It's identical to the cursed tree's sapling, its leaves blackened and veins glowing faintly. Desperate for answers, Evelyn consults the oldest villager, an enigmatic woman named Agnes, who knows the history of the forest. Agnes's warning. Agnes reveals that the forest's curse cannot be destroyed entirely. It can only be passed on. The destruction of the ancient tree transferred the curse to Evelyn, binding her to the forest. You are the forest now, Agnes whispers. It will grow through you. You can run, but you cannot escape. Evelyn realizes the whispers she hears aren't coming from the outside. They are inside her mind, the forest speaking directly to her. A desperate choice. Evelyn faces a choice. 1. Surrender to the curse. Allow the forest to grow through her, spreading its influence to new lands. 2. Seal the curse. Forever. Return to the forest and sacrifice herself, binding the curse back to its source. Haunted but determined, Evelyn decides to confront the forest one last time. The final confrontation. Under the cover of night, Evelyn ventures back into the decaying remnants of the Whispering Woods. The forest seems alive, its branches reaching toward her, roots blocking her path. The ghostly figure of Lila reappears, but this time she seems conflicted. You don't have to do this, Lila whispers. Evelyn ignores the warning and places the diary at the center of the forest, reciting the final passage aloud. The forest awakens. The ground trembles as the forest begins to absorb Evelyn's essence. The trees groan and creak, their branches forming a cage around her. The whispers grow deafening as Evelyn feels her body merging with the forest. In her final moments, she hears Lila's voice. Thank you. Resolution. The forest falls silent. When the villagers visit the woods the next day, they find it completely gone, replaced by a barren field with a single, ancient tree standing at its center. The tree has Evelyn's face etched into its bark, her expression calm yet haunting. Her sacrifice has sealed the curse, but the tree remains as a warning. The forest may one day awaken again. Ending twist. Years later, a young boy playing near the field hears a faint whisper. Come closer. The awakening. 4 o'clock. 5 across. Years later, the whisper returns. The barren field, where the Whispering Woods once stood, is now considered cursed by the villagers. Despite warnings, children often play near it, drawn to the eerie allure of the ancient tree at its center. One fateful day, a young boy named Liam ventures too close. The whispers grow louder as he approaches the tree, faintly calling his name. He touches the bark, feeling an unnatural warmth, and sees Evelyn's face etched into the tree open its eyes. Startled, he stumbles back, but the whispers have already entered his mind. Liam begins to have vivid nightmares about the forest, seeing its twisted trees and glowing symbols. He hears Evelyn's voice. The forest never sleeps. It's waiting for you. The forest begins to regrow. Over the next few weeks, strange things happen in the village. Plants with dark, twisting roots sprout rapidly around the field. Animals avoid the area, and the once barren land becomes overgrown with an unnatural, blackened forest. Villagers report hearing whispers at night, even in their homes. Liam, now plagued by visions, feels compelled to return to the field, discovering the forest's new guardian. Liam gathers a group of friends, all equally curious about the rumors of the cursed field. As they explore the regrown forest, they find remnants of Evelyn's belongings, her flashlight, the map, and even Lila's diary. Partially burned but intact, the diary now contains new pages, written in Evelyn's handwriting. It warns of a new guardian who will protect the forest at all costs. Deep within the forest, the group encounters a figure cloaked in shadows, resembling Evelyn but far more sinister. Her voice echoes unnaturally. Leave this place, or the forest will take you. When the group refuses, the forest itself begins to attack. Branches lash out, roots block their path, and shadows surround them. The curse spreads. The children narrowly escape, but they bring the curse back with them. Each of them starts hearing whispers and seeing shadowy figures in their homes. The forest begins to grow unnaturally fast, its dark influence creeping into the village. Crops fail, livestock disappear, and villagers start vanishing without a trace. The elders realize the curse has returned, stronger than ever, and they begin searching for a way to stop it. Liam's destiny, feeling responsible, returns to the diary for answers. Evelyn's words reveal that the only way to stop the forest is for someone to take her place as its guardian. Torn between saving his village and succumbing to the forest's power, Liam ventures back to the ancient tree alone. He confronts Evelyn's spirit, now fully merged with the forest, and pleads for her to release the village. Evelyn responds cryptically, "The forest chose me. Now it chooses you." The new guardian. The forest begins to consume Liam, wrapping him in roots as he screams. His friends, who followed him, watch in horror as he is absorbed into the ancient tree. The whispers stop, the forest grows still, and the village begins to recover. But the ancient tree now bears Liam's face, his eyes closed in eternal slumber. Final twist, decades later. The forest has faded into legend. The new family moves into the village, and their young daughter starts playing near the field. One night, she hears a whisper, "Do you want to play?" The silent echo of the forest. In the heart of an ancient forest, where the trees stood like silent sentinels, and the wind whispered forgotten tales, there was a village that lay on the edge of the woods. The villagers spoke in hushed tones about the forest, calling it the Whispering Wilds. Few dared to venture too deep, for it was said that something strange lived within its shadows. Among the villagers was a young girl named Zara. She was curious, brave, and filled with an insatiable thirst for adventure. The mysteries of the forest called to her, a voice she could not ignore. She would often wander at the village's edge, staring into the thick undergrowth, feeling as though something, or someone, was watching her. One chilly autumn evening, when the sky was painted in hues of purple and orange, Zara decided she would venture into the forest. She packed a small bag, wearing her warmest cloak, and set out at twilight, just as the first stars began to twinkle in the sky. The villagers warned her not to go, but Zara was determined. "I'll be back before midnight," she promised them, though deep inside she was unsure of what awaited her. The forest greeted her with an eerie quietness. The wind had died down, and only the faintest sound of her footsteps on the dry leaves echoed around her. The trees were tall and dense, their branches forming a canopy that blocked out most of the fading daylight. She felt a strange sense of both wonder and fear. As Zara walked deeper into the forest, she noticed something unusual. The air grew colder, and a soft, almost imperceptible sound filled the space. It was like a faint whispering, a voice carried by the wind. She stopped in her tracks, trying to make sense of it, but it seemed to come from all around her, like it was following her, not letting her escape its reach. The whispers felt familiar, as if they were calling her name. "Zara," the wind whispered again. She froze. Was it her imagination? Or was someone, or something, calling her? The path seemed to narrow, and the trees grew denser as though they were closing in on her. But Zara, despite the creeping fear, pressed on. She could feel the tension in the air thickening, as though the very forest was alive, aware of her presence. Suddenly, she stumbled upon something strange. A small clearing appeared before her, and in its center stood an old stone well, its surface covered in moss and vines. The well was ancient, forgotten by time. But what caught Zara's attention was a figure standing beside it. It was a girl, no older than Zara herself. She was dressed in a long, flowing white gown, her hair dark and untamed, cascading around her shoulders like the night itself. But her face, Zara could not see it clearly. It was obscured, as though hidden by shadows, and her eyes glowed faintly in the dim light of the clearing. Zara took a step forward, her heart racing. "Who are you?" she called out, her voice trembling. The girl didn't respond at first. Instead, she tilted her head slightly, her eyes now piercing through the darkness. "You shouldn't be here," the girl said in a soft, melodic voice. "This place is not for the living." Zara's breath caught in her throat. "What do you mean? Who are you?" The girl stepped closer, the shadows around her shifting with each movement. "I am the one who waits," she whispered. "I was once like you, full of curiosity. But now, I am bound here, trapped by the secrets of the forest." Zara's mind raced as she tried to make sense of what the girl was saying. "Trapped? What do you mean? How can I help you?" The girl's face twisted into a sorrowful smile. "You cannot help me," she said softly. "But you can learn the truth. The forest holds many secrets. Some are forgotten, and some are meant to be kept hidden." The ground beneath Zara's feet seemed to tremble, and the air grew thick with an unsettling energy. The whispers grew louder now, echoing through the trees. They were no longer just in the wind. They were inside her mind, urging her to turn back, to leave. But Zara was drawn to the girl, her curiosity stronger than the fear building inside her. "Tell me more," she whispered. The girl's eyes darkened, her voice becoming almost a hiss. "The forest is alive with spirits, souls who were lost, forgotten, and cursed to wander forever. And I am one of them. I am the daughter of the forest's keeper. But I was betrayed, trapped here, with no way out." Zara felt a chill run through her, but she couldn't tear her eyes away from the girl. How did you get trapped here?" The girl's face twisted in pain, and she let out a soft sigh. "I was the last to know the truth. The forest was not always this way. It was once a place of peace, of harmony, but greed and power corrupted it. The keeper's heart turned dark, and he sacrificed the living to protect his secret. I was one of his sacrifices." Zara stepped back, her heart pounding. "No, that's not possible." But the girl's gaze softened, her expression almost pleading. "It is. And now, you must decide." "Zara, the whispers will never stop. They will follow you, calling you to join us, to become one of us. Or you can leave. But if you do, the forest will never let you go." The wind howled around her, and Zara could feel the pressure building in the air. The whispers were overwhelming now, the voices of countless souls, all speaking at once. She looked back at the girl, whose face was now barely visible, her features consumed by shadow. Zara's heart raced, and she realized that the forest was not just a place of trees and animals. It was alive, with its own dark soul, hungry and restless. She felt the weight of its secrets pressing down on her, threatening to swallow her whole. But Zara knew what she had to do. With one last glance at the girl, she turned and ran, her footsteps echoing through the forest. The whispers followed her, growing louder, closer, but Zara didn't stop. She ran as fast as she could, her breath coming in sharp gasps, until she finally burst through the trees and into the safety of the village. She never spoke of what happened that night. The villagers could see the fear in her eyes, but they never asked. Zara knew that some secrets were better left buried in the depths of the forest, but sometimes when the wind howled through the trees and the whispers returned, Zara could still hear that voice calling her name, beckoning her back into the heart of the forest. And she knew that the forest would never truly let her go.